Larry was a man of peculiar passions. His mustache, a magnificent handlebar, could rival a walrus's whiskers. He collected rubber ducks, not just a few, mind you, but hundreds, each with its own unique personality. Larry resided in Wobbleville, a town as quirky as its most famous resident. He dreamt of sharing his ducky devotion with the world. Larry's house was a shrine to rubber duckies. Every shelf, every nook, every cranny held a quacking companion. He even named them all. There was Captain Quackers, Ducky Parton, and even Quackzilla. His obsession brought a smile to everyone's face, even if they didn't quite understand it. Larry's mustache was legendary. It curled and twirled like a roller coaster. Children would point and giggle, adults would stroke their chins in admiration. The mustache was as much a part of Larry as his rubber ducks. It was a symbol of Wobbleville's whimsical nature. One sunny morning, an idea struck Larry like a lightning bolt. He would organize a duck parade. The whole town could participate. Everyone would dress their pets as ducks. It would be a celebration of all things ducky. He imagined a sea of feathered and rubbery friends waddling down Main Street. Wobbleville buzzed with excitement. The duck parade was the talk of the town. Mrs. Higgins knitted tiny duck costumes for her chihuahua, Pepe. Mayor Mildred practiced her duck quack, much to the amusement of her constituents. The town was transforming into a ducky wonderland. Shop windows displayed rubber ducks of all shapes and sizes. Children drew pictures of ducks on the sidewalks with chalk. Bakers created duck-shaped cookies and cakes. The air was thick with anticipation. The day of the parade promised to be one for the ages. Even the town's resident grumpy cat, Mr. Whiskers, seemed to be caught up in the excitement. He allowed a small duck hat to be placed on his head, albeit with a disgruntled meow. The enthusiasm was infectious. Everyone was eager to participate in Larry's grand ducky vision. Finally, the day of the parade arrived. Main Street was packed. Pets of all shapes and sizes were dressed in their finest duck attire. Dogs quacked, cats meowed in protest, and even a hamster rolled along in a tiny duck-shaped carriage. The spectacle was about to begin. The parade started with a mighty quack from Larry. He led the procession, his handlebar mustache bouncing with every step. The ducks, both real and rubber, waddled and rolled along. The crowd cheered, waving duck-shaped flags and quacking along with the feathered participants. Suddenly, a mischievous gust of wind swept through Wobbleville. It ruffled Larry's mustache and sent the ducks scattering. Rubber ducks took flight, bouncing off heads and landing in unexpected places. Feathered friends squawked in surprise as they were lifted into the air. The crowd erupted in laughter. Ducks landed in hats, purses, and even in Mayor Mildred's hair. The parade, once orderly, transformed into a delightful chaos. Children shrieked with joy as they chased after the airborne ducks. Larry, however, noticed one particular duck escaping. It was Captain Quackers, his prized pirate duck, complete with an eye patch and a tiny rubber cutlass. Larry knew he had to retrieve his beloved captain. He set off in hot pursuit, his mustache bristling with determination. Section 4. Larry's pursuit of the plundering pirate duck. Captain Quackers, propelled by the wind, bounced down Main Street. He landed on a hot dog cart, then bounced onto a passing bicycle before finally landing on the head of a startled poodle. Larry, dodging startled townsfolk and rogue ducks, followed closely behind. He weaved through the crowd, his arms outstretched, determined to recapture his pirate captain. He tripped over a leash, narrowly avoided colliding with a baby stroller, and even managed to catch a flying rubber chicken in mid-air. The chase was on. The crowd roared with laughter as they watched Larry's frantic pursuit. He was a man on a mission, his moustache flapping in the wind like a flag of ducky determination. Captain Quackers, seemingly aware of the chase, bounced ever onward, leading Larry on a merry chase. Larry's moustache, once a symbol of dignified quirkiness, was now plastered across his face, covered in duck feathers and bits of confetti. He was a sight to behold, a mustachioed maestro conducting a symphony of chaos. He was getting closer to Captain Quackers. Victory seemed within his grasp. Section 5. The puddle plunge and a poultry pursuit. Just as Larry reached out to grab Captain Quackers, the mischievous duck bounced off a lamppost and landed squarely in a large puddle. Larry, his momentum carrying him forward, tripped over his own feet and landed face first in the puddle, splashing water everywhere. The crowd erupted in another wave of laughter. Larry, soaked and covered in mud, sat up in the puddle, Captain Quackers floating serenely beside him. He looked around at the laughing faces, and a smile spread across his muddy face. He picked up Captain Quackers, held him aloft, and let out a triumphant quack. The parade, though a disaster in the traditional sense, had been a resounding success. It had brought joy and laughter to the entire town. Larry, still dripping, stood up and addressed the crowd. "Well, folks," he announced, "I guess that's the end of the duck parade." But as he looked around at the scattered rubber ducks and the laughing faces, he realized that this was just the beginning. Section 6. A new tradition is hatched, the Great Rubber Chicken Chase. Someone in the crowd, inspired by the day's events, threw a rubber chicken into the air. Another followed, and then another, until the air was filled with squawking rubber chickens. The crowd, still buzzing with excitement, began chasing after the chickens, their laughter echoing through the streets of Wobbleville. Thus, a new tradition was born, the Great Rubber Chicken Chase. Every year after the duck parade, which, despite the chaos, became an annual event, the townsfolk would gather for a chaotic chase after rubber chickens. It was a celebration of Wobbleville's unique spirit, a testament to the town's embrace of the absurd. Larry, his moustache finely dry and neatly combed, watched the spectacle with a proud smile. He had brought joy and laughter to his town, a legacy that would live on for years to come. He was, after all, the mustachioed maestro of Wobbleville, the conductor of its quirky symphony. And so, Wobbleville, the town of quirky charm and rubber ducky dreams, found its rhythm in the chaos, its joy in the absurd, and its heart in the laughter of its people. The legend of Larry and his duck parade, a disaster turned tradition, would forever be etched in the annals of Wobbleville's history.